Long before the name Moremi would stir songs across kingdoms, Ile-Ife lived in fear. Not of drought, not of disease, but of shadows. Raiders who came like ghosts, masked and merciless, stealing people away. The people called them the Forest Raiders. Only big bow. They struck without warning, took without mercy, and vanished like the Harmattan wind.
I will not back down.
She was not a soldier.
They walk with
She was not a priest. But she was Moremi, and the gods had begun to listen.
Their gods are strange, their ways are unknown, but we shall not kneel.
God, show me the path. Lead, I will follow.
They led her into the land where shadows ruled, a place where names were forgotten and fire was feared. The chief of beasts came close, not with a roar, but with a question burning in his eyes.
Texila, get down, prisoner. You do not tremble. Why?
Because I have already died and returned.
You work like one of us, but you watch like a lioness. She is no slave. Look at her hands, steady as a healer's. Move the fire away.
I found their weakness. Fire.
Among the spirits, she saw men. Among demons, she saw dancers. The lie was unraveling.
They are not spirits. They are flesh.
She did not fight them with blade nor flame, but with stillness, silence, and the eyes of a hawk. Among firewood and fear, she gathered secrets, one glance, one gesture at a time. And far from the forest, the king sat not on his throne, but in silence, caught between duty and love, between hope and fear. In the silence she left behind, the Oba sat like a tree during Harmattan, heavy, brittle, and waiting for rain.
O Loran, bring her back to me, or take my crown.
Or Loran, guide me. The lie grows loud, but so does the path.
He sought answers not from men, but from flame and memory, where her spirit still lingered. And in that hour between day and night, a king stood not as ruler, but as a husband, a father, and a man unsure if hope still had a name.
Kabiyesi, the warriors grow restless.
Then let them pray, for the fire has not yet spoken.
The spirits had faces, and the demons
I
had
found
breath.
their weakness. Fire.
There, in the dance of flames, she saw it. The one thing they could not tame. With a branch in hand and the truth in her heart, she knew what must come.
For Ile-Ife. for Oluorogbo, for every mother who hides when drums sound.
But also what it would cost. She packed not food nor gold, but the one gift they feared, and the one burden she must carry alone. She who walked among beasts now walked the edge of betrayal, not for hate, but for the freedom of many. And so the woman who had entered as a ghost now fled as fire. The forest would never forget her name. Through thorn and smoke she ran, not as a prisoner, not as a queen, but as the spark that would light a nation's war. The beast saw the blaze and knew. She had unmasked not just him.
Daki, stop her! A fool. She was never ours.
And there at the edge of the world she once left rose the walls of her home, not yet safe, but waiting. She left as a wife, returned as a flame, and the people saw in her scars the shape of salvation. Two hearts long divided found each other, but what they held was no longer the same. And so she spoke, not with
They
fear.
bleed, they burn, and they will fall if we stand as one.
Then let fire meet fire.
So she spoke, not with fear, but with clarity. Her voice became the blade the warriors had lacked. Kings may rule with crowns, but in that hour, Ile-Ife listened to the woman who walked through fire. But victory must bow to the gods. For no battle is won without their breath upon the fire. As the sun bowed its head, the people rose. And beside her king, the lioness walked, no longer alone. They did not pray for mercy. They prepared for fire. And in the hush before battle, even the gods held their breath. And when the horns blew and the grass caught flame, shadows trembled, for truth had become
The
fire.
gods did not lie. This fire will burn both days.
It was not the sword that won the day, but the flame of a woman's vow, and the strength of those who chose to believe her. Joy returned to the city like long-lost rain, sweet, loud, and grateful. But joy does not forget the drought it ended. She smiled, yes, but not with her whole face, for a promise made beneath the river does not drown in victory. But the gods were listening, and they do not forget what is vowed in blood and truth. To bargain with the gods is to write your name on water, beautiful for a moment, but never free. And what was once a whisper beneath the river now roars in the halls of men. The gods had not forgotten.
The river hears your cries, Kabiyesi, but not all ripples return.
How cruel are the gods who ask for light to be bought with light. But promises made in fire must be sealed in ash. She had walked through fire, through lies, through death. But she could not walk past the beating of her son's heart.
run, not him.
What price is too high? What life too sacred? The gods did not answer, but the silence said enough. The Oba who had commanded armies now stood before a war he could not win. A war against love, against loss, against the gods themselves. He asked the spirits of men for courage, but they offered silence. He asked the gods for mercy, but they sent only the truth. And so the king wept not as a ruler, but as a man. And in that tear, the gods found their answer. There are sacrifices made with blades. Others are made with breath, with silence, with love too strong to hold. They did not scream. They did not beg. They gave him back to the river that had first made the vow. And the child became wind, the boy became breath, the son became spirit. They did not dance, they did not feast, for some victories must be held in silence, like prayers too sacred for song. She did not weep where others could see, but in the room of the boy who became a spirit, the air was heavy with things unsaid. They remembered. They built her into stone, and him into the sky, and in doing so, they gave meaning to fire. And when the fire cooled and the tears had dried, the story remained, because what is not remembered is never truly saved. The children listened, and though their hands were small, their hearts grew big enough to carry her name. And in that sacred telling, she lived again, not as queen or warrior, but as flame, passed from heart to heart. And they built her into stone, not so she would not be forgotten, but so she could keep watching over them. She gave the land her son, and the land gave her eternity. The gods took him, yes, but they did not hide him, for some spirits choose to return in silence, in wind, in wonder. And sometimes when the breeze shifts without warning, or the drum taps once with no hand near it, they know he is near. He who had ruled with iron now knelt with memory. For in that river flowed not water, but love, loss, and the life of a nation. Some lead from thrones, some from fire. She led from both, and her shadow still teaches. So tell them, tell the ones who are born after us, that once a woman walked into darkness and gave us dawn. This is not the end of her story, because we are still writing it in every child who stands tall, in every voice that dares to speak truth. Moremi Ajasoro.